Dr. Ranganathan, how shocking is this normalization of the Taliban and its terrorism and its outlook and all the other misbegotten, misanthropic, I don't even know what to call them anymore. I'm running out of adjectives. Maybe you can help me out. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, no, Rahul, I think this is to be entirely expected from all quarters, I have to say. I think we live in a world where we try to be more politically correct than being correct. And I think we are paying a heavy price for that. Look, Afghanistan is going to become a worldwide hub for terror tourism, many-fold greater than what it was 2 decades back. 3 issues here, very briefly. Number one, what America has done. Well, it's for all to see. They have run away, bhag gaye, leaving behind a massive defense force of almost 100 million US dollar equipment with the most modern weapons and in the hands of terrorists. What happened yesterday is but the start of things to come. The terrorists have now got a brand new country to operate with and with impunity. Expect Afghanistan, as I said, to be a worldwide training hub for terrorists. Worse, Rahul, the Americans have handed over to the terrorists, as Sushant would know, a full list of all US citizens and their Afghan collaborators right now hiding in Kabul. This is a kill list the Taliban were making themselves. They must be thanking the Americans. The mind boggles. Number two, Rahul, what the Taliban have done? Well, the Taliban are intent on implementing the holy verses and commandments that the moderates were happily teaching all along, as simple as that. Please understand the psychology at play here, Rahul. I do, and I even commiserate. What the Taliban are doing is embarrassing the moderate Muslims and the useful idiot chumps, the leftists. Hence this dire need to bring in false equivalences with Hinduism or label the Taliban as radical. But there's nothing radical in it because there's nothing radical or something called radical Islam as an example. Now, since the last 2 weeks, the Taliban have been ruthlessly ordering women to cover themselves up and adhere to a strict dress code or face punishment. Some Indian Muslims are outraged by this. But it is Allah who has prescribed that dress code for Muslim women. 24, 31, 33, 59, 726. I challenge any Muslim to quote or say that I'm misquoting. Quote these verses. Don't hate the Taliban just because they are following Allah's order and you aren't because you are embarrassed by the verses. In reality, the people who are cursing the Taliban are Islamophobic. That is, they fear Islam. They fear to bring out the commandments of the Holy Book in their entirety. Number 3, very briefly, what India should do. Rahul, I am against India having any relations with dictatorships and barbaric regimes. In fact, you may recall a year ago when all that China thing was happening, I proposed that we must prepare to deal with only democratic nations as a rule. For only that will force dictatorships to slowly become democracies. But what I don't like are double standards. So while I don't want India to have to do anything with Taliban rule Afghanistan, there is a nation, Rahul. They implement Sharia. They prohibit music. They enforce burqa. They segregate sexes. They behead activists. They hang poets. They flog gays. They stone adulterers. They dismember journalists. They do 40 billion US dollars worth of trade with the USA every year. They do 10 billion USD trade with India every year. They are not the Taliban, Rahul. You want to guess the nation?
Doubt. Yeah, Dr. Ranganathan wants to come in. Yes, you want to respond? Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Yeah, no, very quickly. No, I mean, I think Dr. Sumat Raman has made quite a few valid points, just minor disagreements. Because India, I think away from the CAA, which requires granting citizenship, India has actually evacuated. In fact, 2 days ago, they had evacuated more Afghan Muslims than Afghan Hindus and Sikhs. In fact, they had evacuated 35 or 37 Afghan Muslims, while 170 Hindus and Sikhs, Afghan Sikhs, were already in Kabul waiting to be evacuated. So it is incorrect to say that India is not evacuating Afghan Muslims, given the fact that the Pew survey, authoritative survey, says that 99% of Afghanistan in pre-Taliban peaceful time wanted Sharia law. So irrespective of that, we are taking in Afghan Muslims. Number 2, Sushant, made some brilliant points, but he said something which, if I may very quickly disagree, and Dr. Sambit Patra also commented on that. Sushant said that thank God we haven't had a Muslim exodus from India, and Sambit Patra added to that saying that is because that this is a country which has Hinduism. I add to that, we haven't had a Muslim exodus. But look at the irony. This is a country where majority, 80% of us are Hindus, but we've had a Hindu exodus. 500,000 Hindus were ethnically cleansed from Kashmir. You know that. Who was the majority there? Who was the minority there? and they are still suffering. We are a nation that still hasn't taken them back to their home. So, let us be very honest out here. And third thing, as what the Muslim panelist here was, referring to, was mollycoddling Taliban. But, I know in many ways I may be acting as a devil's advocate, but I do agree with him. Because, if he quotes 3359, 2431 or 726, I mean, it as a fact. Afghanistan is now a shining example of implementing the verses that 1.8 billion Muslims